Ace Boogie is giving her a time.
So yeah, hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sharday. I am driving, but trust me, I'm safe. It's literally not that many people right here. I just had to quickly turn on the camera because everything is going by so fast. I am actually about to be delivering today. I'm getting induced. We decided to go ahead and induce me. Shy is so impressed. My due date was the 31st. It is the 11th. So yeah, I'll be explaining more in detail why we decided to go ahead and get induced, but I don't really have everything together, and I was not expecting this to happen, but it's for the best. So I'm just gonna be trying to vlog what I can vlog. I didn't even bring my camera, so I'm just gonna be using my phone, so excuse the footage. But hopefully later today in the vlog I will get some really good footage whenever Adi's, you know, able to come to the hospital and stuff like that. But that's what we're doing. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and, you know, all that stuff. Follow me on Instagram, XoShardea, and I don't even know how to feel right now. I'm excited, but I'm scared as hell. But yeah, so send me prayers, and I will see you guys later. We're at Target. Gotta get the stuff for my hospital bag. I've just realized I have these super long nails, which I thought I had at least until the weekend to switch them out, but I don't. So I don't know what to do about that. Sit down, Shy.
I'm holding this.
No, ma'am. That's not what you're supposed to do. If I have to say it again, you're gonna get in trouble.
No, but if I was
Come get out the way.
Me and Grandma, I was holding that.
Wait, you wasn't supposed to do that.
But I was holding this. But Granny don't.
It is now 1 o'clock. I have to get to the hospital for 3 o'clock. Let's see what I can get. Chloe, what did you just ask me?
I asked, so you didn't have him yet?
She thought that I had the baby. What a baby at, Chloe?
I don't know, at the hospital. I don't know how this works.
Girl,
And my mama baby.
I'm trying to find what I want to put on after I have him.
Button shirt. Button shirt. Button shirt. Right there.
Should I just do the blue one?
I seen the button shirt right there. Black one.
I guess I'm going to do that one. Okay, maybe, let's see. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I really like this. This is small. Okay, this medium. Here. That one, and then am I going to see that I'm going to be too hot in that. So let me just get like the sweatpants and then maybe a nice shirt. I would greatly appreciate it if you smash the subscribe button and turn on your post notification bell so you don't miss when I post more videos. And yes, I'm going to be more consistent. I'm finally getting a baby on a sleep schedule, so I'll be able to upload more frequently. Also follow me on different platforms such as Instagram and TikTok, also Facebook. It's all XoShardea. So today I wanted to do a labor and delivery birth story type of tell-all video. I didn't get to get a lot of footage that I wanted to get because my nurse was just I don't know. So I was just kind of jealous that a lot of people get to get a lot of more in-depth footage from their birth. But anyways, I still have a lot to tell you guys and explain to you guys. And another reason why it has taken me so long to prepare this video and sit down to make this video, because I was honestly traumatized. I was scared. I had to wrap my brain around what was going on. Also with getting into being a mom of 2, getting into a whole routine with that. But the reason why I was traumatized, I will be telling you guys all of that throughout the video. Watch the whole video, or if you can only watch bits and pieces, come back. You know, you'll be able to find me if you're subscribed. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I'll be including some clips so you guys can kind of get an idea of some, you know, actual footage of me at the hospital, but I do want to just go in and explain what happened. So on March 10th, I received a call from my OB. It was around 9 o'clock, and I was super confused because, first of all, I never answer phone calls from people if their number is not saved, but I kind of had a feeling, just answer the phone. So it was 9 o'clock, I answered the phone, and it was my OB, and she was telling me that she wanted to admit me that night and that I needed to come in so that we can go ahead and induce it for me to have the baby. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Number one, I'm not ready, like prepared to have any of his stuff washed. Like, my mom was at work. I know I needed my mom. My boyfriend was busy working. Nobody was home with me to say, hey, come on, let's go. My bag wasn't even packed. So even like if you've been watching my channel, the video of my baby shower haul, that video was made this same night that I got this call. My baby shower, I believe, was on like the 6th. So this was the 10th. I didn't even have everything in my house. The stroller and car seat was still in my mom's house. I just was not prepared, like, at all. I knew that my due date was March 31st. So for me to be getting a call on March 10th that I'm about to have a baby, I was not expecting it. I was hoping to have the baby maybe the next week or the next 2 weeks. I wasn't expecting to go until the 31st, but I definitely was not expecting to have a baby on March 10th. That just was like too much for me. So she really tried to plead with me to come in, and I told her, okay, like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Maybe when I come to my doctor's appointment the next day, we can figure out and see, you know, if I need to go ahead and have the baby. So the reason that she actually called me was because the week prior, she sent me to go get an ultrasound. Well, I had an ultrasound at my doctor's appointment. At this point, I'm having doctor's appointments every single week. I was 36 weeks. I had got an ultrasound at Texas Children's, a more in-depth, like 3D type of ultrasound to see the real sizing of my baby, because the ultrasound I got in office showed that he was only 4 pounds, probably like a little bit over. He was like 4 or 5, yeah, like 4 or 5. And at that time, my doctor had told me that she's like, you're small, he's weighing pretty small. I'm going to make sure that this is the accurate size. Can you go to Texas Children to get a 3D ultrasound, 3D, 4D, however they did it. It was very more in-depth. So 36 weeks is when I went to go and get that more in-depth ultrasound. There is where the doctor came in and told me that baby is indeed 4.5 pounds, well, like a little bit over 4.5 pounds. And she was saying that I was basically, like, he was weighing as if I was 33 weeks pregnant, and at this point I'm 36 weeks pregnant. So it just did not make sense for him to be that small. But she was sure that he was healthy, his heart rate was great, everything was great with him. So she thought that I just needed to come in the following week back to Texas Children to get another ultrasound to see if he has grown. So from the 36 weeks in office visit, when I had that ultrasound, I was on a low 4.5 pounds. And so when I went the following week, a couple days later, I went to Texas Children, and he had got up a little bit more than that. It still wasn't a full pound. I hope I'm not confusing you guys, because it was still very confusing to me. I just was told that he wasn't growing that much, but he did grow a little bit. Still, he was weighing at 33 weeks, and at this point I was 36 weeks when I was at the hospital with the Texas Children's doctor. So I just scheduled to go back the following week to see if the baby has grown then. So apparently when my OB, not the Texas Children OB, my personal OB, called me when she got the results back from the ultrasound, which made me 37 weeks, which was on March 10th. She called me, and that's when she was telling me he's weighing in a 1%, and I need you to have this baby. If we was to go the following week to my next appointment, or even to the next time where I go to the ultrasound, to get the ultrasound at Texas Children, it was a high possibility that he would not have made it. Something could have happened and he would have passed inside, and I would have delivered a stillborn. And she was so sure of this, or had a very high chances of this happening. And at that point I was just like, oh hell no, like I'm not understanding. I was expecting to have a small baby. My daughter was only 5 pounds 9 ounces, and she was born at what, like 38.5 weeks, and I was induced then, but she was still closer to 6 pounds. So I just figured like my son would just be a little bit smaller, but he'll still be okay if I was to go 38 weeks. But once she told me that the chances of him passing away if I was to wait any more days, like that's just, we weren't doing that. And she was also confused why the Texas Children's doctor, the Texas Children's OB, was okay with me scheduling to come back next week, like that following week. She said that from her experience and from basically how they're supposed to do things, when a baby is 1%, I'm supposed to get admitted then, and I'm supposed to get induced then. I'm not supposed to go any further than that if I was weighing really low in a 1%. So she just did not understand that, so that's why she called me and she was trying to get me to come in that night. I guess you guys are probably going to be like, well, why you just didn't go? All that stuff didn't matter. I figured my appointment was the next morning. It was like early morning, so I knew that baby heart rate was fine. I was still feeling fine. I had a couple of hours to get some stuff together. At least tell my mom, tell my boyfriend, this is what we're going to do. At least pack my bag. Trying to do something before I go and get induced. He wasn't too much more in a danger, because I think I did go back to my offices and just do a heart rate, but they did not do an ultrasound. So I knew he was still alive at that point on the 10th. We just didn't want to wait a whole week. We didn't want to wait too many more days. So again, my appointment on the 30th, my appointment on the 11th was going to be scheduled anyways, and it was pretty early morning. So I had in my mind, I'm going to this appointment, she's probably going to check my cervix, and I'm probably going to have to go to the hospital to deliver the baby. I still didn't really know what was going on. It still was very new to me. I just was so terrified that she said that my baby can pass away if I was to keep him for too many more days. So I go to the doctor on the 11th, and she does a vaginal check, and I believe I'm only 2 centimeters, and she wanted me to go immediately to the hospital at that point. Still, I did not have nothing that I needed for the hospital. I did have stuff for the baby, and she gave me like an hour and a half to go get whatever I needed and to meet her at the hospital. So this was around 2 o'clock. I went and gathered some stuff, which I have some footage that I'm going to be showing y'all. If we went to go get some stuff for my bag for me to stay, because I also was concerned about, so if he's going to be small, if he's going to be 1%, chances are he's going to have to stay at the hospital. He's not going to be able to come home with me, and maybe I may have to stay extra days. So I tried to go and get some stuff. So we hurry up, went to Target. I picked my sister up from school. We went to Target, and I called my mom, and I'm like, Mom, we have to go right now. Like, you have to leave work. We have to go right now. And so she was able to leave work. Luckily it was a Friday, so she left work. She met me at her home, and we went to the hospital, which was, if y'all hear something, that's my rabbit in the back. And we was able to make it to the hospital like 10 minutes from her house. So we go, I'm admitted to the hospital, and they immediately started giving me the medicine for me to get induced. So if you've never been induced, it's basically like Pitocin that they're giving you, that's speeding up the process so you can have the baby a lot sooner. They will also come in and break your water, all this stuff, but I'll be telling y'all. So basically, I got there, they gave me the medicine, they gave me an IV, and it pretty much started. So I got in my bed at 3 o'clock. Yeah, like 3 o'clock. I got in my bed and I got situated. They gave me some of the medication. They immediately started the Pitocin. So they did that. It took probably like 45 minutes to an hour for me to start having some contractions. I was not feeling the contractions at first because they was very mild, but of course I knew that they were going to increase because they were going to be giving me the Pitocin a lot more. Side note, another reason I had to go on Friday, because my OB had a planned vacation on Saturday, and I wanted her to deliver the baby. I didn't want to deliver the baby with somebody else who didn't know me, didn't know my like history or anything like that. So it was kind of like two things. But I was expecting to go in labor probably throughout the night up until like Saturday, and she had somewhere to go on Saturday, which was the 12th. So I didn't know what was going on. I just know that we're here on the 11th. I know my doctor is going to be here, and she should be delivering my baby. But when you're given the Pitocin, I was under the impression that yes, it's to speed up the process, but I was still, like I said, under the impression that it was to be monitored. When I had my daughter, I went in at 5:30, and I was given a Pitocin and went through the whole laboring until 7:30 is when I actually gave birth to my daughter. So the timeline with baby Amir is I went in at 3 o'clock. They gave me the medication. 45 minutes to an hour, I started to have contractions, and then they started to, of course, increase. I was given like fluid, so while I'm getting those contractions, I'm constantly having to go to the restroom, and I'm not remembering this. I'm like, I know I didn't eat or drink anything. Like, why am I constantly have to go to the restroom? Like constantly. And I was laboring. Like I was definitely in labor, of course, but I was having contractions, and it wasn't as easy for me to hop up and walk across the room to go to the restroom. So it was like pissing me off, and I was asking my nurse, I'm like, why am I using the restroom so much? And she was like, oh, you're on fluid, you're on, you have a bag, you have to finish all of that. And I was like, oh, okay. But I was so pissed because, like I said, I kept having to go to the restroom. My contractions are getting more and more severe. So my nurse came in, and she's like, well, are you going to, we get an epidural? And I said, yeah, of course I'm getting epidural. And she was like, so when are you planning on getting it? And I was like, okay, well, I can wait. Like, I wanted to wait as long as I could, because in my mind, I felt like it was gonna wear off. Still in my mind, I was expecting to have the baby the whole next morning, like late on the 12th. It wasn't in my mind to have a baby on the 11th. So I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. But she said, well, just keep in mind, you're gonna have to go through a whole nother bag of fluid before they can come in and give you the epidural. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna wait a good 30 minutes before you come back, and then when you come back, we can start on that bag. That was my first mistake, because I should immediately got that other bag of fluid, like got her all having it hooked up so that we can start that. I should already have done that, because the Pitocin was still going, and they were still increasing the Pitocin, so making my contractions and making my labor go a lot quicker. I'm still not knowing this. I'm just thinking in my mind, I'm gonna have the baby late on the 12th. So this process is not gonna go too fast for me. Let me just take my time, because my body would not be able to handle everything so quickly. Give me about 30 minutes before you come back and give me that IV bag, and we'll see, after we do that, then we'll have to wait for them to come up to give me the epidural. So I waited that 30 minutes, and at that point the 30 minutes came, and I was so pissed at myself to wait, because on top of that, she told me that the person who was supposed to give me, the anesthesiologist who was giving me the epidural, he was tied up, and he would not be available until another 30 minutes. Actually not 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour. He was already tied up with something, and I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? Of course I'm in pain, and I can't keep up on the time of this, but it's probably around, like, it's going around like 7. No, yeah, probably going around like 7. So time is just passing. It was between 7 and 8. Time is just passing, and of course I'm starting to labor more. He finally comes up, and it was between 45 minutes. The epidural part was not hard. Like, it was a lot easier with my son than it was my daughter. It's like, thank God for that anesthesiologist, because I was in so much pain, like from my contractions. I was scared that I wasn't gonna be able to keep still. But my mom had to leave the room, so they gave me anxiety. No one can be in the room with you when you're getting epidural, so I had to do everything to keep myself calm. You have the monitor that's telling you and showing you a contraction is on its way. So I was trying to brace myself before the contraction came, or like time it, because they were coming like every 2 minutes. So I didn't have that much time to be able to brace myself, bent over completely to get the needle in my back. But he was very quick. Like I'm saying, like I said, he was the easiest. That was the easiest process. So we did the epidural. It was like an hour, so this was like late 8, it was around 8:30. Yeah, it was around like 8:30ish by the time he came up and gave me the epidural. And after that, my doctor had came in, and well, actually right before that, let me back up. Right before I got the epidural, she came and broke my water, and that was so freaking painful. She had like this little clip thing, and it was not clipping internally, it was like clipping the stuff, right? So I was feeling like she was pinching me. My body was halfway off of the hospital bed, like I was touching the wall, like I had like screamed and like ran away from her. Like I was screaming and crying like I was a freaking like toddler. Like I just could not do it, and it hurt so bad. And I was trying to tell her like, you're pinching me, you're pinching me. So the whole water out, like she didn't get to pop it enough as much as she needed to. So that became more painful, of course, because that's speeding up everything at this point. And that's when the anesthesiologist came in and he gave me the epidural. So right after that, probably like 20 minutes, the doctor came back in. She wanted to see how I was doing. The anesthesiologist came back in. They wanted to see how I was doing. They checked me, and she was like, oh, okay, like I can't remember the terms. I'm not a nurse. I can't remember the terms, but she basically was saying like we were doing good. Even though I was telling her, I was like, my contractions are like 2 minutes apart, like 2 minutes apart. And I kept telling them, I was like, I'm gonna have this baby by 11 o'clock tonight. And they was like, no. Everybody was like, no, you're not having a baby tonight. You're gonna have the baby maybe like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just like, that could be believable, because my previous experience, I had my daughter at 7:30. That's just what I was thinking. So when the doctor came back in, when she checked me again, of course she had to get more of that, like my water to break, like to make sure all of that was out. And it ended up coming out on its own before she had to stick me, you know, reach up there again. I just got the epidural. Like I said, it's been about 20-30 minutes, and they both came back in to check me and see how I was doing. And I was telling them I'm going to be having this baby around 11 o'clock. They both were like, no. They both, and the nurses were like, no, you're not having a baby right now. You still got some time. Mind you, I got there in my room at 3 o'clock. This time it's about 9 o'clock. Literally 9:30. So my body had gone through a lot at that time, and for them to tell me, try to like reassure me that, you know, you're gonna have the baby tonight. I'm just thinking in my mind, okay, I'm gonna have a little bit, you know, a little bit more time for me to get my breaths in order and to everything to cool down, for me to actually have the epidural work, because I had waited so long before I got the epidural. So I felt a lot of the contractions just naturally. Since I got the epidural, it didn't immediately start to work. It took some time, and it started and then the craziest part of it all is that when they gave me the epidural and they came back in to check me, and they was telling me I'm gonna have some time, because the epidural had not even traveled through my whole body. It literally was stuck on like my right side. It was not on my left side at all. So they were telling me, you know, you got some time. So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, they're gonna wait. It's gonna, you know, it still has to go to the other side of my body. Whole time they're pushing the Pitocin. They had raised it up, but they had last told me that they had stopped it because I was going too fast, and you know, like I was having too many contractions, and I didn't have the epidural. So she was able to stop it. Mind you, they can monitor that. So they had slowed it down, but when they came to give me the epidural, the nurse had raised it up, like sped it all the way up. I was not aware of that. So y'all sped it up, but at the same time, verbally you're telling me I'm having the baby 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's 9:30. So you get the conflict. Like, it didn't make sense to me what was going on. I didn't know that at the time. So for the epidural to go to the left side of my body, they gave me a peanut ball. I've never seen one of these, and never heard of one of these or anything. Honestly, I didn't even look too much into like laboring this time. I had a baby before, so I was expecting it to be the same type of situation, and it slowly started to show me that it was not that same type of situation at all. So when they gave me the peanut ball is basically shaped like a peanut, And to get the epidural to go to this side of my body, I had to turn on my side and get the peanut ball in between my legs. And that was told to me that it was just to move that medicine all to this side of my body. Well, he's fine. To this side of my body, right? Adi had went to sleep. He wasn't even asleep like 5 minutes. My mom was still in the room. Luckily, she was still in the room. Technically, I was only supposed to have like one person. But she was about to go. She had decided she was gonna leave and she was gonna come back, because still in our minds that I was gonna have the baby in the middle of the night or like next morning, right? So he had briefly went to sleep. I had turned on my side with the peanut ball. My mom was on the phone, and all I remember is I think like his heart rate had started to like drop or like something. Yeah, it like dropped, and I had saw that first, and I was like, what the heck? Because it started to beat, and I was like, what the heck? And then I felt immediately like I was about to poop my pants, and it was, I can't even, I honestly cannot explain it, because it was like, it was a lot. Like, it was so much pressure, and I'm still forced in this side, but like I'm still forced sideways. So I'm like this, like if y'all can think about it, my knees are to my chest, obviously, because I have the peanut ball wrapped around me. So the baby was able to turn and move down, and once he moved down, the heart rate had dropped a little bit, because I don't know, whatever, it dropped. And so when I'm feeling that, I'm still not thinking I'm about to have to push, so I'm pressing the button to tell the nurse, hey, I feel something, like something's going on, and I'm screaming because I'm still in pain. Mind you, the whole epidural is not everywhere in my body. It was still pretty much on half of my body, so I was still feeling the pain, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, this just feels weird. It didn't immediately dawn on me that it's my baby's head that I'm feeling down here. So the everybody came in, like they flooded the room, and my eyes got so big, and I immediately started to cry. And my mom was like, she can feel pressure, but still in her mind, I believe that she didn't think that it was the baby. I didn't think that it dawned on her that it was the baby. It was time for me to push at all. So like I said, everybody flooded the room, and they were like, you're about to have a baby, you're about to have a baby. So they getting to pull all their stuff out, do everything, and I'm crying because mentally I was not prepared, and it's making me freaking get emotional because I was not prepared to push. When they had last checked me, when they, I didn't even tell y'all, I don't think I told you, I mentioned the centimeters I was. When they last checked me with the anesthesiologist and the doctor, when she checked me, and they was like, I'm gonna have the baby around 3 or 4, based on like me being 5 centimeters. So I was 5 centimeters the last time they checked me. So they checked me, I was 5 centimeters, did the peanut ball thing for literally 5 minutes, and it was not even, I swear to you, I'm not exaggerating, it was a legit 5 minutes. Like, it was 5 minutes. So I was just like, y'all coming here telling me that I'm about to have a baby when I'm 5 centimeters. How can I have a baby right now? How is a baby going to come out of me right now if I'm 5 centimeters? It makes no sense. Y'all just checked me not even 10 minutes ago, literally 5-7 minutes ago. Y'all telling me that I'm going to have a baby at 3 or 4 o'clock, and it's now 9:30ish, 9:45 or whatever, and I'm just like, it was too much for me. Like, I already have a problem with change and anxiety, and I'm in pain and all of that type of stuff, right? So that's when everyone's in the room and they're telling me I'm about to push, and again I'm just like tripping in my mind, crying, and I'm just like, why are you crying already? Because I didn't start to push yet, and I was crying and I looked so scared on my face. I remember like looking like super terrified because it just happens too quick for me. It was a lot to process within that time period. Like I'm saying, you told me I was 5 centimeters, and I go from being 5 centimeters, not even 10 minutes later, you're in the room telling me that I'm about to have a baby. And I know that a baby can't fit out of me, and I'm supposed to be 10 centimeters when I give birth. Like, it just did not make sense. But that's what it was. I literally started to push. I didn't push too long because my doctor had to cut me, and she immediately cut me because like I probably pushed a few times, and she was like, I remember her screaming out, he's gonna cut her, he's gonna cut her, and she cut me. Like, I don't know how it felt to me in my healing process, because I got cut with my daughter. In my healing process, it was a difference. And my mom told me that the way she had to like cut me and stuff was because he was going to rip me. Like, it happened too fast, and she just had to do it. And when she cut me, he came out, and my doctor, of course, you know, you got to get your placenta out. And I'm thinking, you know, I didn't know that she cut me. Like, it didn't dawn on me, because I'm not thinking, like, I'm hearing her say he's going to cut her, he's going to cut her, but it's not dawning on me that she really did cut me, because we had previously talked about, oh, you know, she talked so bad about my other doctor actually cutting me. So I didn't think, like, in my mind at the time, despite what was being said, I didn't think that she cut me. But I knew, you know, she was cleaning me up and getting everything prepared for me, right? But that continued to go on for some time. I was bleeding a lot, so much so it dawned on me that this is not normal. This time period that she's taking to clean me after the placenta is out is not normal. She kept pushing down on my uterus, like rubbing and massaging it after the placenta was gone. I know where I was going to say, well, she's trying to make sure everything was out, but she kept pushing down and she wasn't telling me what was going on. And that's what kind of like started to freak me out. It started to freak my mom out, and it started to freak my boyfriend out, because what's going on? Like, why are you still in here? You know, normally the doctors come, do what they gotta do, and they bounce. Why are you still, like, what's still going on? And my mom could see all of the stuff that she kept having to get gauze to soak up the blood, like kept rolling gauze. She was asking the nurses for stuff, and it was irritating to see that. I just don't think that the nurses caught on to that she really needed help with me, because she just kind of looked like in a panic, and I was just so confused. So I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? I'm getting scared, more scared than I was, because why am I losing so much blood? And to be an African-American woman, and I know like stuff that can happen in the hospitals, that has happened in the hospitals when, you know, mothers are laboring, and I'm already knowing that I should not have, like, it should not have gone that fast. I was terrified. Everybody in the room, like my family, were terrified, because they, in their mind too, this all happens too fast, and she's bleeding so much. The doctor's not even telling us, of course, she's bleeding a lot, she's going to be okay. They're not seeing anything. And I get the doctor was trying to do her best, you know, with getting me stable, but again, in that situation, no one was telling my loved ones like what was going on with me. I ended up getting a shot in my hip. Again, at that time I didn't know what the shot was for. I know I didn't get that shot with my daughter. I wasn't told what the shot was for, or nothing. It took us still some time to get the bleeding to stop. The doctor leaves out of the room. Of course, my family brings me over a mirror for me to see him. The nurse came in to just make sure like everything was okay, like I was clean or whatever. And when she came, my mom had like picked the baby up, of course, and I got into like, to me, it felt like my body was in shock. So cold, so shivering cold. My teeth were shivering. Like, my teeth were, you could hear it up to like pretty much my whole body. If I could explain like my face being cold, it was like everywhere up to like here. I was so freaking cold. I was shivering so bad, non-stop. At this point, we're really panicking, because why am I shaking so much? Why am I so cold? Like, tell me what is going on. My nurse, absent-minded, she just was like, that could be from the epidural or whatever, I don't know. Let's just put a blanket on her. And you know the hospital blankets are paper thin. And she gives me like 2 of those, and I'm crying out. I'm like, it's not enough, it's not enough. I'm cold, I'm cold, I'm cold. Like, do y'all have anything else? My nurse is just literally making it seem like, and making me feel as though, oh, this is normal. Like, this is just a side effect, you know, just, you just had a baby, just your hormones, like, it's fine. No, it was not fine. It was not fine. Did you not realize that I just lost a lot of blood? Like, a lot of blood? And for you to sit here and be like, oh, well, it's fine. And my mom was like, it's not fine. I'm telling her it's not fine. I need more cover. And like a few minutes later, I'm like, do you have a heating pad? Do you have something that can warm me up? Because these blankets are not it. Like, I had the hospital blankets. I had the blanket that, like a thick fuzzy blanket from home on top of me. It still was not enough. Wow, it's literally just moving nonstop. Everybody started to tell me, the nurses, I mean, started to tell me, put your tongue out, put your tongue out, keep your tongue out. I don't know what that was for. I don't know if they thought I was going to have a seizure. I don't know. But I was trying to keep my tongue like this and breathing. Like, so I was like, trying to calm down. Like, it was crazy. So that wasn't really working. So the nurse finally brought in one of those bear hug things to try to warm me down. And it still took some time for me to get like okay. But what pissed me off was as soon as I got that, she had to keep coming back repeatedly to check my uterus. So she was pressing down on my uterus, so she would lift up all of my blankets to check my uterus. But I'm freezing cold, so I'm trying to warm up, and you keep disturbing my temperature. So my boyfriend was like, do you have to do that right? He was like, do you have to do that right now? And she's like, I have to check her uterus. But this is the same nurse who was just unbothered with me shivering. So he kind of gave off that she was very nonchalant with my condition at that time. So he was very pissed. But she still continued to come back every couple minutes to check my uterus, all while I was being cold. Because I was that cold for so long. I have a nice sized restroom. This is my room. It's pretty decent size, pretty big. Nice couch area here. And this is where the baby's gonna go. Oh my God, y'all. Yeah, so we are here and I'm in my gown. I'm ready. As ready as I'm ever going to be, right? So here we go.
Hold on, y'all. Hold up. It's okay. It's okay.
But they could have said that she was gonna do that, and I would have been done
Don't be hitting on me. I ain't did nothing to you.
I would have been done the fluid if I knew that she was gonna come do that.
Well, I didn't know she was coming to do that. She just got her water broke, y'all. We're halfway in to this bag. Once this goes down, she's gonna get her epidural. I'm sorry. Once this goes down, she's gonna get her epidural. I am on FaceTime with the crew. She's starting to get a little rough.
Yeah.
And Amir will be here soon. Stay tuned. Hey, hello guys, we part 2 of this little video that we're doing. I got my gang over there on the phone set up. This is baby Ace. Seems like he's contracting less than a minute apart. Hell, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, who knows, but you get the picture. This is her, she's in distress. It's called Pimp in Distress.
Mama, I can't laugh.
Man down.
That'll do it. You do not have to worry about me. You do not have to.
What to do it? She say them contractions to do it. What happened, babe?
Because they take it forever to bring me the epidural.
You feel like they hold you on this one.
I feel like I was set up.
Okay, here come one. Ace Boogie is giving her a time, and we're not even on epidural. Come on, babe. It's all right. It's all right. It's coming. Look at it. Look at it. We'll be back. Stay tuned. What you need me to do? This happened quick.
You okay, Mama?
She's just nervous. It's okay, baby. Mama here with you.
This footage was at 11:30, and as you can see, I was still wrapped up pretty tight, trying to get my temperature down. It was about a good 30 minutes, and then I just had to go to sleep. And because I had went through all of that, I could not move my body. When I opened my eyes, it was very blurry. I could not really see much. Definitely could not hold my kid. I cannot do skin to skin. I cannot immediately, you know, tend to him and love on him like he deserved, like I wanted to, like every other mother would. I just physically was unable to do that. And I just thank God that my mom did not leave, because she was about to leave. Remember I told y'all earlier she was going to leave because it was told that I was going to have the baby like in the wee hours of the morning. So luckily that she stayed. Also, I'm like grateful for her to stay, because me being in that state, being unable to physically care for him, needed her help a lot, and she helped me so much. Yes, my boyfriend was still there, but he's a male, you know, like he didn't know too much. He still was like traumatized what was going on, and it just was a lot for him. So my mom was able to care for Amir the whole night while caring for me, and she was terrified for me because no one still told her what was going on with me, like was I gonna be okay. Like she just wanted to make sure that I was going to be okay. It was unsure. So she stayed with me the whole night. I did not immediately go to labor and delivery, which was another issue for me, because like my mom didn't really get any help throughout the night. Like no, like they came to check on him a little bit, but it wasn't that much. So the next morning I actually ended up going to labor and delivery. Well, not labor and delivery, postpartum, I'm sorry. I ended up going to my postpartum suite, and I didn't even get that much help over there. So my whole nurse experience was not that great. Like it was definitely not that great. I did not get help with lactation. I didn't get much care for my physical self. I still had to, you know, get up and go to the restroom and stuff like that, all while feeling extremely lightheaded, extremely still in shock, still in pain. And it was hurting me so much, so that like with my daughter, after I had her, I still, like a couple hours after I had her, I was still able to get up, move around, hold her, have guests, entertain people. Like I was unable to do any of that. Like I was literally like, I don't know, I was out of it. I was completely out of it. And so that was not fun at all. But he did very well. Everything, like his blood work, everything came back very good. Like he was eating like he was supposed to. He passed all of the tests. So he was born at 4 pounds 9 ounces, and he was 17 inches long. That made him actually 0.26% like in a percentile of what he was expected to be. So he definitely had to wear like preemie clothing and stuff like that, and I guess would have been considered a preemie, even though he was full term. It was kind of strange for me because he was full term, but for his sizing, it just, you get it, like he was 0.26%. He was not 1%. I could not have kept him inside for a whole nother week. Like he probably would not have made it, because I don't know what was going on. And the reason why I did find out, the reason why I was bleeding so much, because I had tons of blood clots, tons and tons and tons of blood clots. And I was told previously that I had endometriosis, and I've always had like issues with heavy cramps and stuff like that. I only had to stay 2 days, and we were able to go home, and here's him now. I will be showing y'all a more close-up video of him later. What that was about, what caused that, I don't know if that was the reason why he wasn't growing. I don't know anything of why he stopped growing. I know that I had got to a point where I wasn't growing that much. I did not eat a lot my whole pregnancy. I know I've said this previously, like I didn't have that much of an appetite. I just did not think that it would cause him to not grow. I don't know if that's, well, obviously you have to eat so your baby can have food, but I don't know. I don't know why he didn't grow. He just got to that point and that was it. And then despite all of that, he came out perfectly healthy. Thank God for that. The reason why I got that shot, so if you end up getting induced, you end up getting a shot. The shot was to stop the bleeding. Simple as that. They did not tell me that in the process. Again, remember I was telling you guys, they did not even tell me that I was bleeding a lot. It just was obvious that I was bleeding a lot, but I didn't know why I was getting those shots. So that's pretty much my birth story. It was super traumatic for me, and I just did not get to enjoy it like I wanted to enjoy it. I did not get to film like I needed to film. I know you guys know some doctors don't like you to film in case of malpractice or something was happening. In this situation, that could have ended up being what it was, because it was just so much going on and it did not feel right, it did not seem right. But that's why I couldn't get too much footage, but that's all that happened. So if y'all have any questions about it, let me know in the comments down below. It was just a lot, guys. Like it was a lot. Like we were thinking that I was gonna lose my life, like I was gonna go into a coma, or I don't even know. It just was a lot of blood. It kind of really crushed me and like kind of put me into a mini depression. But I just kept trying to fight. What made me be so strong is the fact that my son was like, he was doing so good, and that's all I really wanted, was him to do so good and for me to be able to care for him. I thank God that we made it and everything was okay, and yeah, we're fine and he's here. So thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's pretty long, but I want to explain to you guys and also to keep it for my memory as well. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks.